welcome to Basic Balancing. So I'm going to walk you through 4 poses that you can do individually, or you'll see them sprinkled out throughout a practice in the traditional way. But having the foundation for these 4 poses can really help kind of project the rest of your practice, but also having the foundation will explain why alignment is important in the rest of those poses. So these are 4 basic ones, but they're really good ones. So the first one we're going to do is Tadasana, or mountain pose. I'll show you first facing forward. In some traditions, the knee or the feet are hip bone distance apart. So that is literally right where your hip bone juts out. So right at the sharpest point of that hip bone, even if you have to kind of feel around for it, that's right where it pokes out the most. That's right where the center of the ankles and the feet are forward. Some traditions, the feet or the toes are together and the outside of the feet are parallel to the mat. So whichever one you feel more comfortable with, a lot of times you actually feel a little bit more stable, you have more balance if the feet are a little further apart. So the outside of the feet are parallel to the edges of the mat. You're pressing down in the 4 corners of the feet. So that means the outside of the ball, the inside of the ball, the outside of the heel, and the inside of the heel. A lot of times the toes start to grip, and that's okay. I like to say it's for a last result type thing, but so you're pressing down in the 4 corners of the feet. You can take a moment and rock side to side here. And pressing down, so you're rooting down into the foundation of your feet. Let the toes come down. And then feel the strength of the ankles moving up the legs. Slight bend to the knee, but almost with that slight bend, a little micro bend. So you might not even be able to see it, but I have a tendency to hyperextend. But you want to have that little catch right there. So a little tiny micro bend, but think about lifting the kneecaps. That sounds really weird, but you're basically engaging the top of the legs. By doing that, you're creating more length, more strength. The pelvis is neutral. So that means that it's not pushing out behind you, or it's not tucked. It's just neutral. So you have that natural curve in your spine. Pull the belly in, and the shoulders are down naturally. So our shoulders naturally curve forward just a little bit, but sometimes we take it too far and we have poor posture. But when you're told to overcorrect, which is up, back, down, you're actually overcorrecting and you're putting strain on the chest. So then it's hurting the chest and it's weakening the body. So just let them fall naturally. Pull the ears back over the shoulders. So from the side, your Tadasana would look like this. Traditionally, we start with our hands, palms face forward. Everything is strong. And it's not as easy as it seems, but this is the foundation of all of our poses. So when we move into even a warrior, you're coming from the foundation of this Tadasana. So you're moving from there. The first place we're going to go from Tadasana is actually Utkatasana, chair pose. So thinking about the plane, so there's the straight plane, you're just going to sit. So you're still facing forward, the hips are in the same direction. You're pulling the belly in, the tailbone is pointed down. A lot of times we arch the spine here. Think about pulling the tailbone down. You want to keep the tailbone neutral and then reach the arms up. If your feet are together, then bring the palms together. If they're apart, then bring the feet apart. Pull the belly in and sinking low, try to find your chair. Make sure you can see your toes. If your knees come out over the toes, pull the hips back, lift the chest forward, tailbone down, and gaze forward or even up. And then you would come back to your Tadasana. To take an advanced variation of that, you would sink all the way down to where your thighs are parallel to the ground, the earth. A modification would just be not go as far, but always make sure you can see your toes, meaning that your hips are back, belly's in, tailbone down, and gazes forward or up as your chest is lifted. So that's number 2. Number 3 is tree pose, Vrikshasana. We see this one everywhere. Now I know that we all want to immediately come up right here, but balancing is hard. So if you're not there, you can start at the bottom. Again, foundations. So finding that Tadasana in your left leg, would keep a slight bend to the knee, press down to the four corners of the feet, lift up, strong left leg, and then open the right knee out to the side. So thinking about the plane, the right knee is a 45, 90-degree angle from straight. Geometry is not my strong point. So the right knee is out to the side, 90 degrees from the top of your mat. And you want to keep it opening. So that's one of the first things. And then you would walk the inside of the right foot to the inside of the left, or the sole of the foot to the inside of the left leg. So you can stay here in tree, okay? This is tree. This is where you should all start. Once you feel like you're finding your balance, you can start to walk that foot up. One of the biggest things about finding your balance is also finding a place to focus your gaze, something that is not moving. So not like I'm doing, I'm looking around. Find somewhere that is not moving, either down or up, and focus your gaze or your dristi to that space. So then when you do start to sway, it helps you to stay focused. Okay, so a lot of times we use that in other poses, but especially in balancing poses, it's so important, or otherwise you're gonna fall. So this left leg is working strongly. So the right leg. My right foot is either on my left, near the ankle, so on the floor, but it's not pressing into the ankle, or it's on the low part of my leg, or the upper leg. Never place any part of this foot on any part of the knee joint. I say completely skip it. You always protect your joints so we can practice longer. The knee is opening. Find your dristi. Both legs are working just the same. And then you can lift your arms, finding different variations. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Another variation right here for a little bit more advanced is you can take a half lotus leg and even find a bind. So bringing your right hand around to grab those toes and then lift. So those are a few variations of tree. The last one we're going to do is eagle pose. So you would bend your knees just as you would in your chair pose. Now for me, as I'm bending, so we'll begin with the left, well, let's do the right leg. So we'll begin with the right leg pressing down. And I like to cross as I'm bending my right knee. You don't have to do that. You can bend and then cross, or you can cross your leg on top and then bend. Okay, so you're pressing into your right leg, the left leg comes on top and it bends. You can stay here, or you can hook that left foot around the right calf. Okay, so you're still bending, pressing down, pull the belly in, tailbone is down, and since your left leg is on top, your right arm is going to come on top. You can either grab opposite shoulders, the back of the hands, or wrap all the way around for eagle arms. Shoulders down, hands and elbows out, pull that belly in, and again, find your gaze, your dristi. This is a good one to really focus on the gaze. Eagle pose. Garudasana. You can bend a little lower or come a little higher for modifications, or for more advanced, you'd go lower. So there you have it, 4 balancing postures, and they all stem from Tadasana, the foundation of our practice. So I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for practicing. Remember to always find your dristi. Namaste.